And we are live. Hello, everyone. That was without the musical introduction because we're new and we're pretty disorganised. So,
the wheels have come off, to be honest. The wheels have absolutely come off.
Already. I know, it's only week three. So, you know. It's the first time we've had 4 people. So we're blokes. We can't multitask, basically.
We don't have an intro video. It's gone.
Do you want me to
so,
show
hello,
me
welcome, everyone. This
Yeah.
is a special... This is a special one tonight because we're going to get serious and do some actual fish talk from somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. Because me, Max, and Nate have been bumbling through it for the past couple of weeks, just guessing it basically. So, welcome to the Dark One, aka Stephen Grant, catfish guru, catfish. Should we mention your Facebook page as well?
Please. Catfishes of the world.
Catfishes of the world. How many people have you got on there now? It's a big group, isn't it?
Last time I looked, about 6,000, I think, something like that. Might be knocking on 10 now, I
bet. Steve, if there's 10,000 members in your group, why have we only got 3 viewers?
Where are they?
Because they're not interested in me; they're interested in the group.
Well, sort it out. Get better.
Ethan Wright, hello there. How long until the books get plugged?
Oh, it's funny you should say that, actually. I think
he's already tried selling them to us 5 times. So, yeah,
okay.
Steve, tell us just quickly, and please do keep it brief because we know you probably won't. Tell us a bit about your books.
Oh, didn't you? Oh, really? I didn't know you knew I had some books, so I don't tend to mention them often. But
forced signed copies on me.
So yes, I've got 3 books. First one's out of print. That one on pins. Second
Not
one
the drink.
on no. That's Cleanse, I think. Second one. Oh, it probably sold more if it were about the drink, to be honest. Second one, banjos, dorads, and woodcats, and the third one, recent, about Asian catfishes. And that was designed and printed and published by ATS Aquashop in Germany.
Is that Andreas Tanker?
It is.
Another catfish man.
He is, and he's done.
Perfect.
Oh, out of print, that one, Nathan. You need to hang on to that one. Brilliant.
Oh, hang on a minute. I need to borrow this.
Oh, who's this? Who's that dishy fellow on the back?
Look at that. Wow.
That thing belongs in the water, you know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't sign mine, Steve.
Sorry.
Stephen, do you have any more books in the pipeline? I'm sure you do.
I was looking at an African one jointly with Oliver, but it's not really gone anywhere as yet. I think we're both probably too busy at this point in time in his lives, or maybe Oliver's working on it, I don't know, but hopefully at some point that we'll start on that in earnest.
Are we talking a genus or a family of catfish from Africa, or?
It'll predominantly be the Synodontis, the mocha kids, but there might be some others because Oliver's he's bred quite a few African catfish actually, but he's recently bred quite a rare one. So I think it'd be a great book. If he does it on his own, which might be the case.
Quickly. Where have all the Synodontis angelicus gone in the UK, please, Stephen?
I've not seen any proper ones for years. Long time. I don't know whether that's just because people are not. They're probably just bothering with these cheap hybrids.
Is Angelicus a Congo fish?
I believe so, but it's because I'm working on some mocha kids at the moment, and it's in that region, and that's on the left bank at Congo as you come down. Obviously, it's a huge river, but
there's not nearly as many Congo imports coming in as there used to be these days. So I think it's probably the case is that there's just not many Congo fish in general, really.
Plus, I think a lot of people are obviously importing as in from Czechoslovakia these hybrids.
The zebras.
Obviously.
Do they call it zebra? And it's Decorus hybrid.
Yeah.
There we go, Ethan. You're absolutely spot on. Everything from Africa is indeed a Congo fish. You are spot on there.
Everything?
Everything.
Every single fish.
Not just
Lake
fish.
Malawi, now in Congo.
Not just fish. Everything in Africa. A leopard is a Congo fish.
Right.
Robert Mugabe's a Congo fish.
On the subject of that, did I tell you my story about when I spoke to Neil Hardy of Neil Hardy Aquatica? And I went up to him at a meeting and I said, Neil, where have all your West African fish gone? Because you used to be the absolute mecca for them. And he said to me, where's Kinshasa?
Kinshasa.
What country is that?
Is
it Nigeria?
No. I think it's Congo, isn't it? Kinshasa's Congo.
Anyway, so Neil Hardy used to be one of the biggest exporters of any goods whatsoever out of this airport at Kinshasa. I can never say it.
Kinshasa,
And now they don't do it anymore. So, or they do it far less frequently, like Max just said about Congo. And that's where all the cool stuff used to come from. All the West African cichlids, all the cynos, all the lungfish, all the polypterus, all that stuff. So,
Jamie's got a story about a banjo that didn't end well. I really don't know where that story's going. I didn't know he was even in a band. Tell us that sometime.
The thing with Congo, of course, is it's so politically violent there. There's so much unrest. So it stands to reason there's not going to be much stuff coming out of it.
Yeah.
If you risk... the last time, I can't remember who it was who showed me, but someone showed me a picture of their two collectors in Congo. They literally looked like Belgian mercenaries. They had like full webbing on and everything. And they're like, yeah, they're the guys that go out and get our fish. And I'm like, yeah, it's a bit rough there.
Okay, so...
Kind of like Castleford, where Steve Grant's from. Maybe not quite as bad as Castleford.
It is rough, to be fair.
Shall we do a little bit of news? Because we've got so much to talk about. Let's just do some news.
I think we should do fish news. Are we ready for fish news, everybody? I think we're ready for
fish
news.
Are you going to launch it, Max?
I'm going to launch fish news, yeah. Here we go.
Go.
The newly discovered 12mm long fish makes a noise as loud as a pneumatic drill.
Marine researchers were out looking for sharks the other day off the Canary Islands.
A massive halibut fish weighing over 200 kilograms.
Why are you called fish?
You teach him to fish. You give him and no. Fish news.
Oh,
beautiful!
Every week,
just beautiful.
It's incredible, is that?
Right.
Who's starting us off?
That, Nathan.
Nathan,
I'll start.
Honestly.
Okay, this one, Poropuntius tongnunui, a new species of cyprinid is described from the Mekong River basin in Thailand, with the authors providing a comparison to the 9 congeneric species in the Mekong, Charafraya, Salween, and Tenasserim river basins. Any thoughts or comments on this new fish, chaps?
Looks like it needs a lot of space.
Yeah,
that's my first thought about it. Yeah, it looks like it needs a huge tank if you're going to try and keep that.
I haven't looked at the adult size yet, and I haven't looked at the size of the holotypes, but I'm guessing that's at least a 6-inch fish, isn't it?
It's probably fair to say it's not going to take off in the hobby.
No.
Yeah, let's talk about commercial appeal. Yeah, I mean, that was nice, popular.
Probably Andy Rushworth would like it.
Andy Rushworth would like it.
He likes silver barb type fish.
Well, it depends. If it tops out at 6 inches, you've got a pretty good replacement for a tinfoil barb right there. And there's still lots of people that want those.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
It does look quite athletic, like you say, though, Nate, with that big tail.
It's going to be a quick fish.
Yeah.
Marks out of 10 for new fish commercial appeal.
Commercial appeal, I'd give it a 6.
1.
Oh, that's generous.
A 1.
That's generous. I'm going 3 on that.
A great white shark should take a 1. I mean, at least you can house this thing.
Not if it got 6 inches.
Okay, next. Oh, that's
a nice fish.
Magnificestora Keokra Jom. A new genus of species of nemochilid loach is described from a small tributary of the Paki River in the Swan Phueng region of the Tenasserim Hills in western Thailand. I wonder if they were discovered by the same people, perhaps. In the same, it's in the same area. It's in the same area as the Poropuntius. So
I think it was
Okay.
led by an American who described that. I think is it Randall or something like that.
Okay. It's a nice looking fish. It's a nice looking fish. It's probably the sort of fish that will clean algae off the glass,
Page,
I imagine.
bloody Page.
Okay.
Size?
Haven't looked yet. Should we guess?
It's only going to go to about
like
between 4 and 6. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's a little job.
Dinky.
A little. It's a bit. Yeah, it's a nice fish.
Apparently, the females have suborbital flaps, which is
Tell us about your suborbital flaps.
Nothing special. I have those.
most males of that kind of family do have suborbital flaps, so it's usually folding females or nothing, which is probably which is why it's relatively unusual, I believe.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah. What else we got, Jeremy?
Cool. Out of 10, I'm just going to move on really quickly.
Out
What
of
are we
10?
going to give that one out of 10?
Ooh, 8.
I give it an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool fish.
8. I'm
Yeah,
going
it's cool.
Yes.
It's going to be
Solid 8.
Right.
Next, it's marketable. Micro zebra lurch.
It's like those Indian river
Sort of.
loaches. It's kind
We
of
sell it.
okay. Would anyone like to guess what this one's called?
Yeah. Anybody in the chat? Would anybody in the
Genus?
chat like to have a go at what this is? You've got 3 seconds, or we end Nathan's life. 1.
Oh God! Again.
2, 3.
No.
All right.
Okay.
I'll go.
So
I'll go
this
get a
is
noose.
Pariorina auruoca, Pariorina isabellae, Pariorina mystica, and Pariorina sophiae.
Sophie.
Okay. Go on, Steve.
Pariorina.
What do you know?
Me? Oh.
Yeah.
No, the other Steve.
Sorry, I thought you were looking in my mirror. Not a great deal on these, to be honest, because they don't really come into the hobby. They've got quite small distributions, I believe, that genus generally. So you don't
genus, really. So we don't even see other members of that genus.
Not really. There's been odd 1 or 2 that I think maybe people have collected and things like that, but you wouldn't see that in your general aquarium shop.
From the Paraná River, which isn't particularly well fished for the trade, is it?
That's in Brazil.
Yeah,
small-sized armored catfish,
size.
mountain ranges.
Yeah.
It looked hill streamy, didn't it?
It definitely looks hill streamy.
It's almost like Astroblepus, but armor plated essentially.
Is it a lorry-carried?
It is.
It is a lorry-carried. Yeah, I was going to say. I was just when you said that.
But it's very Astroblepus-like in terms of its more.
But Astroblepus is not a lorry-carried, is it?
No, it's related though.
Yeah. Chris Wilson says it looks similar to Hisonotus / Paratisynclus. It does look like them. Is it Jumbo? Paratisynclus Jumbo.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Mind you, let's not give any props to Chris Wilson because he knows nothing. I'm joking.
Okay, and the last one. Max, how many fish did you say we'd seen have papers published on their description this week?
Bear with, let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 new species. Hold on, let me count again. I'm terrible at maths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, 9. 9 new species, 1 new genus.
Crikey.
It's pretty cool, isn't it? I read something recently where scientists reckon that there's still 100,000 species of fish waiting to be described. I think we're on about 35,000 now that we know of.
It depends if you're a splitter or not, because there's so much stuff that's described that you could just describe as another 5 or 6 species.
I mean, maybe Heiko was right. Maybe there is a species 9 for every kind of, every genus. But yeah.
What have we got next?
So, and then this is Rhinoloricaria harani. New species sand-dwelling whiptail catfish is described from the Itapoco River in Santa Catarina, Brazil, previously referred to as Rhinoloricaria species 3 in literature. Any thoughts?
Probably literature in scientific literature rather than aquarium, because I don't think that will come into into the trade. I don't think
Yeah, that's fair enough. There's lots of Rhine loricari in the trade, and they can be quite hard to identify.
very hard to identify unless you know where they're from or they're one of the very striking ones. They're really difficult to break down.
Yeah, well, that's one for the catfish nerds, isn't it? That's one for the
good for
guys that literally, yeah, it's one for the people that like fish where all they can see is two nares and two eyes poking up from the substrate and nothing else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I like it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice little thing. That's a dead picture, isn't it? So it probably looks a bit different to that when it's alive.
Yeah.
Mm.
Not much different, I would have thought. Maybe a bit darker, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. Probably Parva, not gonna lie. Yeah. Very good, Chris.
Everything's Parva.
Everything's Parva.
Man?
Parva Rhino loricari, that's what we call them. And then Mark Duffel has just asked, is that including the new blind Triplophysa, Max? And yes, it is. There's two fish that we don't have pictures for, simply because we can't spend all day on fish news. We've got more pressing matters to attend to. We've got a new blind cave loach, Triplophysa nyongensis from the Guizhou province in China, if that's how you pronounce it. And Jeremy, I don't know if you've seen this one, but let's just throw it in really quickly so we can move on. There's two new cyprinids from China, both in the same genus. Labionin cyprinids. They're not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're basically Gara. Hongshuia, Wangai, and Bulobos. So yeah,
Wheelbase, like it.
Two little Gara type things, and I think. Has anybody got any news that they want to include before we move on, or is that everything for this week? CW fish keeping, yeah. No. We did include pictures of the blind cave loach. We did.
We
did.
I don't know if I've got news, but I have got an observation. I've been doing because it's warming up. I've been doing loads of scrapes of cold water fish that are all slimy as anything up. And obviously, I'm up in the north. I'm used to doing scrapes down the south. And what I'm going to say is the parasites up in the north are huge on goldfish. I don't know if that's related to climate or the conditions because it's softer and more acidic up here. But I've never seen like Corydoras so big as they are up here. Absolute beasts. I bet, really, really tiny Gyrodactylus. I've yet to see a decent sized gyro. They're always really dinky compared to what I'm used to. So and still gravid. They've still got the baby one inside them, but they're really tiny.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there's probably a paper on that. As I say, there's absolutely tons of papers on parasites on Google Scholar. So maybe there is some kind of.
I've encountered a few new things up here as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it might be the different water chemistry. So down where I was before, down south, it was always really hard, really alkaline water, and up here, pond keepers they just let them decline. So they generally don't spot a problem until the KH drops to absolute zero, and then everything kind of kicks off. And then I do a scrape, and everything is huge, just absolutely huge in there. And I've seen things that I've not seen, but I think I saw it looked like a trypanosoma today. It looked like that weird kind of curvy little leechy thing shipping around in a scraping as well. And I was like, never seen anything like that before.
What are those things? We used to find them in K1 in ponds, what they called. It's kind of like a tiny detritivore that kind of eats stuff. It'll come to me in a minute.
Possible. Oh, and I saw a tardigrade today as well. That was really cool.
A tardigrade.
So did a scrape. There's a tardigrade. I'm like, literally, because I'm zoomed right in. I'm like, what the hell is that? Because there's literally just this writhing mass, and I'm like, right, let's come back out one. Let's go to 100 times as opposed to where I was. And pan back out, and there it was, just like happily padding away, doing its waddling thing, water bearing through the water. I'm like, that is so cool. I haven't seen one of those in donkey's years.
Did you identify species level?
No. It was blurry at best because it was just moving around so much. It was fast, this thing. But really excited by that. And again, found on a mucus scrape on a fish, a tardigrade on a fish.
Interesting.
That's crazy. I mean, you hear all these things about him. Were you tempted to kind of torture it with like no oxygen and stuff, and like freezing conditions and then like boiling conditions? Or
I was tempted to whack it in the microwave for like 5 minutes and just see if it was still alive afterwards. It's like, can I nuke it and it will live? Can I get some? Can I get some plutonium? Yeah. You came out all small and pink. It was kind of cute, actually.
I've not recovered.
You looked a bit like Voldemort under the bench. You're like all sort of withered and yeah. Good to see you've got some mass back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right.
Okay.
So that's fish news. So we're going to move on to Corydoras because, well, let's talk about Corydoras. So let's get straight into it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I am looking forward to this. Should we start off?
Really excited.
How do we approach this? You know, has anyone got any thoughts? Because do we go right back to? Day one of Corys? I mean, Stephen? Can you tell us what came first? I mean, there's some new genera. If you could just tell us what's happened to Corys in the past few years and where it all came from. You know, were these new genera? Were these synonyms? If you could just give us an overview, please.
Yeah, so before I do, just to preface it just a little bit, I'm not a professional ichthyologist. I am an amateur ichthyologist. So it's not what I do for my job. It's something I do outside of my job, essentially.
Is it true that you're a male model for your job?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, on muscles only. So I am an amateur ichthyologist. I'm not a professional one. So just have to preface everything I say with that. But it is something I've been doing for nearly 40 years. You have got a fish named after you, though. You've got a fish named in your honour. I have, and I've described a few as well, and a few genera as well. But yeah, so
you say you're an amateur, but so that means you've co-authored some papers, though.
I have co-authored some papers. I've been very honoured recently that I've been allowed to co-author some papers with professional ichthyologists. Previously, the things that I've done have been on my own, which I've received a lot of criticism for in certain parts. But yeah, thankfully, I've been able to do things with actual professional ichthyologists recently, and I've got some more in the pipeline as well. So I'm really honoured that I've been able to.
Do you know?
To do
because we've invited you on, and we've been quite kind to bring you in and join in with, as you know, we're icons now.
Yeah,
I would say that
aquatic icons,
a premium aquatic icons, and we can help you get to that level by allowing you on with us. I think it's only fair that exactly. Yeah, I think it's only fair that in the near future you name a couple of fish after us, whether that's maybe Freshwater Network Freshwater Network Orrum. And then, that's got a ring to it. Corydoras Freshwater Network Orrum. I like that. Do it or else. Anyway,
I'm not sure that will catch on that one.
I've got a fish named after me, so yeah.
You have.
Yeah, the scrotum fish. Yes.
Yeah, scrotum fish. You remember that? Yeah. Wasn't there a Clarius named after you as well?
I think there was, but yeah, it wasn't as good as the scrotum fish.
No,
scrotum hilly.
Yep.
Oh dear.
So yeah, just getting back to that. Like I said, we need to realise that everything that I've done, I've learned myself, basically, or through working recently with professional ichthyologists. So I've still got a lot to learn, but yeah, I can essentially talk you through just very briefly, because I know this is not a lecture or anything like that. So essentially, since time immemorial, essentially, all of the species other than Aspidoras have been in Corydoras. But then in 1980, Nyssen and his Brooker, which I'm sure you've all heard of, very famous ichthyologists. I was really pleased to be able to meet Isaac a few years ago. That was great. They, in 1980, I think it was, split them into different kind of groups, but kept the name Corydoras, didn't change any genus names or anything like that.
Was that where they introduced the lineages?
No, that was much later. So the 1980 Nyssen and his Brooker basically did the kind of, you might have heard the Barbatus group, the Elegans group, things like that, essentially. So they broke them down into
quite rudimentary, really, at the time.
It was, but I think that was more about them being conservative and not having the evidence to be able to because obviously that's a long time ago now. It doesn't sound like it, but I was only
No,
8
it
years
is.
old, and I'm very old.
Nathan was only 74 at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, we're in the 70s then. So they probably didn't have the evidence to be able to use different genus names, because some of these, in fact, all of these genus names have been around for many years, or described a long time ago. So it's not that the genus names weren't there; it's just that they obviously didn't feel they had enough evidence to essentially use them, other than Corydoras and Brochus and Aspidoras. So then in 2011, I think it was, the Alexandru paper came out, which is where the lineages came in.
Okay.
So they did some work which involved some DNA-based work. It was mitochondrial DNA, so it was only a part.
The powerhouse of the cell.
It was only part of it, but they essentially came up with these lineages in terms of how they were interrelated as phylogeny. And they gave the lineages names, and that's where you hear this lineage 1, lineage 2, and all this kind of stuff.
Steve, if I can interject, at this point in time, when the lineages came out, how many valid genera of Corydoras were there at the time? It
depends who you follow. So there were certainly, obviously, Corydoras, because that's the type of Corydoridinae. There was Aspidoras was generally accepted. Scleromistax started to be accepted from about early 1990s, I think it was.
Okay.
And then there was a bit of a dispute around Brochus, and there still is. So depending on who you followed, because there were more.
Nathan follows children home from school. Just
well,
not no injunctions there.
So there were morphology-based phylogeny, I think 2003, which synonymized Brochus with Corydoras.
Right,
but
okay.
That wasn't followed by a lot of people. The people essentially kept using Brochus. So then, like I said, 2011 came along, and then there was, I think, in 2013, I think there was a thesis which looked at resurrecting some of these names, but it was a thesis. Obviously, it wasn't officially published. And then fast forward a lot of years to 2024, when the actual revision was published by Angelica Diaz and a whole host of other scientists.
And that's where we're at now.
And the recent revision was the recent revision was DNA, was it, or morphology and DNA, or?
So it was a morphology and a DNA one, but it was a more genomic DNA base. It wasn't just looking at mitochondrial DNA, which is only a small part of the genome.
Yeah, I say explain this for the chat, but explain it for me as well. How does genomic and mitochondrial DNA differ?
So basically, mitochondrial DNA is a small part of the genome that's inherited, and it comes solely from the mother.
Right. Okay.
So it is used. It's widely used. Still is being used in some cases. It's still useful. Right. But the one in 2024 was a much fuller genome. It was using what they call ultra conserved elements, which is basically thousands of the parts of the DNA structure, not just inherited from the mother, but also from the father. So
it's basically a larger sample.
It's a much larger sample, and
it's just more
comes
accurate.
from both mother and father, not just mother inherited genes.
Yeah.
So they use that, and they use they combine that with a lot of the morphology work, which had mainly been led by Louis, but not just Louis. There were Marcelo and others, and I were involved in a couple of those papers too, when we described a couple of species. So they basically combined those two things, and essentially then revalidated some of the, not all of the, but some of the genera, which is where we are today. There was, like has been mentioned, another genus name described, I think, last year, but that currently is classed by us, but obviously other people may look at it differently and follow different things. We class that currently as a synonym. So that's really where we are with it at the moment, but it's not something that's going to stay still. For all those who hate renaming labels and remembering genus and species combinations, there might be more to come. Well, there will be more to come. There will be more work.
Okay. Can you give us any clues on that? I mean, what's a grey area at the moment in terms of species then, and where they sit?
So in terms of the genera, when the 2024 paper came out, the Corydoras as had been proposed in the thesis, and came out in those lineages in 2011. They couldn't find any morphological characters to differentiate them from Gastrodermis. So they took the conservative approach and decided to essentially keep those embedded within Gastrodermis. Who knows, maybe in the future when more work's done, they may find something that can be morphologically separated. So there's that potentially, but who knows? Brochis, I think we all probably know Brochis is probably a dumping bin at the moment of a variety of species. There's probably there could be up to 4 genera within Brochis, including Brochis. So that there's a lot of work to be done on that. Whether this, I'm not saying there will be split. I'm just saying there's more work to be done. And then the issue of the Urcameo, which were described last year, like I said, that we probably haven't heard the last of that debate. Obviously, the authors feel that that's valid.
Which species would go into that genus if it was resurrected?
It's a small group of species from like the southern part of South America. So it's like Microcanthus and Gladisae and Petricinae, very small species.
Right, okay.
They'll look at first glance a little bit like an Aspidoras, to be honest, at first glance.
Right, okay.
But they haven't got the morphology in Aspidoras.
Okay.
So I think that will rumble on a little bit. Who knows where that will lead? So yeah, there's a lot still to go, really.
Black Country Acris has put, I absolutely love relabeling shops labels. That's all good and well, but you can't keep going into Tesco and writing osteogastro on everything. You need to stop. She'll get banned. I can't look at any of the new Brochis and see why they'd be called Brochis. Go on, Steve. What do you say to that?
Me? Or is another Steve in the chat?
No, it's still you.
So again, I think similar, not exactly the same. It's similar to the Corydoras. The Brochis, they had about, like I said, there were about 4 subclades within Brochis. And the DNA just look like, it does show that there's some splits and there's some deviation and branching going off in terms of speciation. But again, it wasn't felt that there was a strong enough morphological character that you could hang it on to differentiate. And because differentiating genus at genus level based on DNA alone, in my opinion, and a lot of scientists' opinion, is not something that should be done. There should really be some synapomorphies that you can see that kind of that genus all have and the share, and it may be a combination of things. It might not just be one thing. So the number of soft dorsal fin rays wasn't seen as enough to be enough as a character to differentiate them as a genus. These other subclades.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can get behind that. Ethan Wright has said, if splitters fully got their way, how many genera could we get out of Corydoradinae?
If you splitters, if you go with splitters, then obviously, like I said, you've got your Corydoras. You've probably got another 3 new genera for the 3 of the 4 subclades in Brochis. Depending on how you look at Urcameo, you might want to include them. Obviously, we did a paper on that where we felt that wasn't valid, but others may have a different view. Oplisoma, there are some morphological groups within Oplisoma, but apparently when you look at the DNA, they don't sit together. So there's some what we used to call super Corydoras when there were Corydoras. You might want to call them now super Oplisoma, I suppose.
And where could maybe be a separate genus.
Morphologically, there could be an argument made, but like I said, when you overlay the DNA, they're not all together. They're kind of
right. Oh, right, okay. So you'd have to actually split the super Oplisoma themselves, and there'd have to be a few genera in there, which is
which is just silly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and what's your favourite of the super Oplisoma out of interest?
Ooh, let's see.
Come on, it's got to be a particular one.
No,
that's not a super. That's a terrible Oplisoma.
No.
That's a terrible Oplisoma.
No, Grant is one of the supers.
Really?
It is.
Really?
It is because the supers, very scientific word, I know. Very large, very robust. The intercoracoid area is covered in platelets. They usually have very large dorsal fin spines, not always. Get to quite a large size compared to some of the other Oplisoma. Because Oplisoma, by the way, is lineage 6 and 9 combined. So it's two of the 2011 lineages.
Okay, so that's
well,
interesting.
depending on which DNA you look at. If you look at the mitochondrial, the separate. If you look at the fuller genome, the ultra-conserved elements, they're together.
So is the super Hoplosoma group 9 versus the standard ones being 6, or is not how it splits?
No,
right,
all the supers are in 9.
Right. Okay.
Your 6s are like your palliatum type group. With big blotches on the body, small, relatively small, extended bodies.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. It's a mess, isn't it? It's so confusing.
It
That's
is,
what we're here
it's
to.
A lot better than it's a lot better than it was before.
It's progress.
It is, and some people might say it's not. It's worse because why can't we call them all Corydoras? And you might want to still call them Corydoras, but you might want to call all.
What about if I want to just call them Corydora?
I'll give you a pass, but my friend Ian Fuller wouldn't. He wouldn't be happy with that. Ian doesn't like Corydora. So Ian would pull you up on that one, but I'm not too fussed about it. Unless obviously talking in terms of something serious or kind of formal, then obviously it's got to be the proper spelling of the name.
Yeah, we always want to be better, don't we, than we were yesterday. So let's try and use the proper names where possible. Or Ian Fuller will come to you in your sleep.
Hopefully Ian's watching, but I think he might be in Peru now.
Yeah, I think he might be, mate.
Yeah.
He might be watching from Peru. That'd be nice.
I hope he is.
Ian, if you're watching, hello.
Yeah.
If you're not watching, then not hello.
You might watch it on catch up.
Where do the short and long nose fit mimics or divergent/convergent evolution from Alan there? I think this is a really interesting subject, by the way. I was thinking about this today driving around. I think it's fascinating that there's mimics of most Corys in different. Well, I say Corys generalizing in different genera, which really shows that I'm gonna put a hot take out here. I guess when you think of Corydoras care, you think they're all fairly similar, but the fact that the speciation is so diverse and yet members of different genera can move to fill similar niches means the care probably shouldn't be that standardized for all Corydoras. Is that a fair thing to say?
I mean, there's some care that will fit across most of the species, other than potentially temperature. Some species require some more water flow as well than others. The 2011 paper, the Alexandru one, which I mentioned earlier, that wasn't a landmark paper just around the lineages. That actually looked at this issue of co-mimics or mimicry rings, as it's sometimes called. And it showed some of the mimicry rings, which then were split into different lineage, which are now in different genera. And it basically, I think the outcome, to summarise it in a few words, which is probably not doing it justice because it was a really landmark paper, but I think their kind of findings were that they felt that they'd converged together, but that they fit different trophic niches.
Yeah.
So the theory was, the thesis was that the shorter snouted species may not dig as much in the substrate, or may eat different things in the substrate to the Brochus types.
Absolute snufflers.
Yeah, but there's been a paper out recently on the toxin or poison or venom, whichever you want to call it. Obviously, there's different kind of ways in which you would identify those three things, but we'll call it toxins to be, so we're not getting too deep. But they talk about this too in this recent paper. So one of the authors of which is doing a talk at the Catfish Study Group convention in March. So if you come into that, you'll see a really interesting talk on that. But basically, the view is that they've converged in terms of the colour patterns for cryptic and aposematic
Yep.
purposes. So your cryptic is because
Hiding.
but there used to be a theory that you either had to be cryptic or aposematic. Aposematic is the warning coloration essentially. There's behaviours as well, but it's usually coloration. You had to be one or the other. You couldn't be both. But actually, we did a paper when we described, I think it was Bethany, and then a bit more on Colossus, where we showed, using evidence from other things in the animal kingdom and everything, that actually there are species that are both. So that depending on your view, where you're looking at from in terms of the predator's view, whether you're looking from above, from the side, close, far away, different backgrounds, different backdrops, that actually in some cases the coloration can be cryptic, but in some scenarios it can be aposematic. It doesn't have to be one or the other. So there's a lot of that in itself absolutely fascinates me, and that's one of the things I'm really interested in is that element of it. So I think there's a bit more to come out in that as well, I think.
That is cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. Just while I've got a minute, I completely forgot to announce earlier on. Steve has kindly donated a T-shirt. I don't know if you've got it there. Cheers, Steve. A Catfish of the World T-shirt.
I haven't, but it's the one with the Capture the Word logo on across the front.
Now, all you have to do, we're going to set up a better way to do giveaways in the future, but for this week only, everybody who comments on the stream while we're live now, we will assign a unique number. I'll put it through a unique number generator, and I will announce the winner on next week's episode. We're going to find a better way to do this. I'm sure Tom has a better way. I know he does. We've just not had a chance to sort it. All you've got to do is pay for postage. Is that right, Steve?
Yeah, I'll donate the T-shirt. You can pick your colour of the T-shirt, pick your size, and you just need to pay for either the postage or if you go into the convention, I can give you it at the convention.
Yep. So all you've got to do is comment in the chat while we're live. I'll give you a number. We'll do it that way and announce it next week. If you haven't already commented, just say hi, tell Nathan that you don't like him, whatever, and we'll go from there. So yeah,
we're getting loads of fascinating comments on this. We better start going through them. So let's start with this. Thoughts on?
By the way, I absolutely love the picture there. It's Pistogramma bitaniator, just a stunning fish.
Awful,
beautiful,
awful.
Steve, you're getting kicked.
Awful.
Thoughts on colour forms in Corydoras, like with red erythristic form of C125, some Calichthiidae, and odd pale individuals, not quite albino, that pop up in some Oplosonas spawns.
Yeah, so some of these C125 came up at the Catfish Study Group auction on it was on the day of your last Sunday, which is why I couldn't make it live. So on my way back, I haven't seen them around for some time.
Is that an Asmodeus?
It is. So it's been line bred into it's red essentially. I think it originally came from a kind of more golder coloured fish, or it had some, like I said, more reddish pigment in it, and it's been line bred. I mean, I ain't got a problem. I ain't got any problem with the colour forms if they're natural, because colour forms do naturally occur. Obviously, you've got your albinos, your xanthics, you've got your melanistics. That's just human. Human nature. That's just nature. You know, we will get them. It's where people actually hybridize species that I'm really against. But in terms of naturally occurring colour forms that people have then propagated to sell, I ain't got a problem with those. I think there can be some really nice looking fish.
I think that's an ethics question at some point, Nathan, that we should discuss, because you've got look. Let's touch on it briefly, and let's shelve it for now, because we could talk for hours and hours on this. At the end of the day, what's the chance that captive bred fish sold in shops are ever going to make it back into the wild? And if they're not going to make it back into the wild, why shouldn't we be breeding different colours of them?
It depends where they're being bred. So if they're being bred in South America, well, I mean, if you take the tiger shovelnose group, Pseudoplatystoma, they started still are farm breeding Pseudoplatystoma in South America, and hybridizing them on purpose.
Right. Okay.
And some of those have actually got out.
Well, that's a problem.
And it is a big problem, because what in the river systems now, you've got thousands, I mean, we don't know how many, obviously, but you've got a lot of hybrids,
Mm.
and that's causing problems not only for competition to true species, but it's also mixing up problems with science, because somebody might come along and say, "Oh,
Yeah.
I've got a new species here,"
Yeah.
and describe it, not do any kind of nucleotide tests or anything like that, and describe it. So here, they're not going to get into the wild, are
Yeah.
they? If they're over there,
It's a different story. Yeah.
potentially. I mean, you've only to look at the pteroglypths.
Yeah.
They're all over the world now. I know they're not hybrids, but they're all over the world now.
They're not in the colder.
There are in some colder elements.
No, it's in the colder river by me.
Oh, they're not in the colder. Sorry if I said colder, as in COLD. There could be.
Someone might chuck one in
Who
summertime, Max. You never know.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a valid point. Is that we need to talk about that in ethics at some point. There's a whole episode there. Let's see. Has anybody else seen any other questions? An interesting one from I had a group of C. semaquilis and noticed they absolutely dug into the sand for tube effects. I buried for them. The now Hoplysoma and Osteogaster I kept alongside them didn't seem to understand how. So that's the Corydoras with the long nose. Perhaps they've got that nose for digging, whereas the other species possibly only feed on the surface of the sand.
Yeah, the like I said, the Alexandru et al. Paper definitely decided that they felt that it was trophic niches, and that the snout, certainly the snout, maybe other things, but certainly the snout was one of the different ways of feeding, maybe eating different things in different parts of the substrate and things like that. So, I mean, I have seen non-Corydoras, Corydoradinae kind of doing a little bit of digging, but I don't think they do it as often as the longer snouted species, not in captivity that I've seen anyway. So I would tend to agree with that. I'm not saying they never do it, but certainly not as often.
To the same degree.
So I think there's some merit in that, I think.
Yeah. Ethan writes,
is it not down to? Sorry, Max. Is it not down to substrate, perhaps as well? I mean, observations, perhaps.
Could be.
Wet season, dry season. Some are over mud, some are over sand, some are over gravel, etc.
Yeah, I mean,
study, wouldn't it?
It would. I mean, they co-occur in some of these, so they're found together, they're caught together.
Okay.
So, I mean, whether they are always together, that's one of the questions that I've had, and I think others have had and said, just because they're caught together doesn't mean they're always together. Maybe they go off at certain points of the, cycle, night or day or whatever, and maybe they come together at certain parts of the day or at certain times of the year even. So I think, and I think obviously anything we do, anything we observe in an aquarium is not a natural setting. I know we talked a lot about biotopes, thinking the other week, some really good points there. And it is a fair point that what we see in the aquarium doesn't always mean that it's going to happen out in the sticks, but it doesn't mean you should ignore it either.
Observation is everything, isn't it? I love observation, and that's where we can really do citizen science with what we see behaviourally with our fish, even in aquariums. Although, like you say, it's a man-made environment. It's still fascinating, isn't it? To see.
It is, and I mean, the typical, obviously, really good example is breeding, but just because something is bred in certain conditions for us doesn't mean it's necessarily that's how it breeds where it came from. But it's certainly an indication. It's certainly something. But even things like when we described what is now Oplysoma colossus, one of the things that we went to quite a bit of detail and talking about is its colour changing abilities.
Wow.
So most fish have some degree of control over the colour. In various ways. There's various mechanisms that can control the colour, but these particular fish have a propensity to go, and this is not always on a dark substrate, mind. They can go from quite a tan, kind of sandy colour to basically virtually all black, and somewhere in between, and turn back again. And so that was observed not just by me but other people too in aquariums. So that was brought into the description, albeit we had to obviously say it was anecdotal. It weren't a controlled environment. We had to make all those caveats, but it's still an interesting, it's still an interesting piece of observation. So everybody that's observing fish and looking at, some people sit and watch the fish for hours, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
And they should do, because they can come up with some things that people would, scientists go out and catch them, scoop them in a net and put them in formalin. They're not going to see those things.
Yeah.
You raise another interesting point there as well, where you're talking about wild observations. When you think about it, those wild observations, those two are just a snapshot. So you're talking about species cohabiting together. It's like, well, like we mentioned with biotopes last week, all nature is transient.
Yeah.
So you're only seeing that. If you're there for 2 hours, you're only seeing what happens for 2 hours. And then we're sort of basing like how we should keep these fish based on a 2 hour observation. It's like, okay, well, that's the first time they've ever met for 2 hours, and it just so happened the person was there. But normally they're with fleets of shovel-nosed catfish or something else. It's trying to draw up a picture of all the anecdotes and try and turn that into data, I guess.
I think, I agree with that. I think the fish that don't mimic each other, that's certainly a point that needs making. I think the ones that we believe mimic each other, there's a reason they mimic each other, and the fact that they are syntopic in a lot of cases, or certainly for parts of the year, that it's unlikely that there's not been some form of convergent evolution involved. I mean, there's a lot of theories. People look at different theories, but from what I've read, and I've read quite a lot about it, that it's likely that they have converged to have that same pattern for that mutual benefit against predators and to avoid predation. So I think it depends what species it is.
Yeah. This question from Ethan Wright, well, it's not a question, it's a statement. I've kept it up because it's something I really like. We found at least 5 or 6 Hastartus kerasin mimics in Bolivia, and there's another 2 or 3 knocking about in the hobby too. I love that because there is absolutely loads that have this basic pattern: silver body and 2 white spots on the tail with a black caudal peduncle.
Real black.
Yeah,
you've got was it Kriegi or something?
You've got Serapinus kriegi, Odunta stilbe pekera, Hypsobricon alarchis, Heliarchus, Hyphesobricon. What's the other one? There's another one. Not Kerai, that's quite different, really. There's another little one. And then you've got like Hemigramma schmade, Aphiocarax, CF, Naterarai. There's absolutely loads. It goes on and on and on. There's so many. And what's really interesting is if you breed a lot of the smaller bodied Hyphesobricon, they start out like that as well. So they actually look really, really similar to that for a long time before they finally develop into their adult colours. So even things like, you look at black neons, they're not dissimilar as juvenile fish.
That's a really good point, because one of the things when we described Hoplosoma noxium and tenebrosum, one of the things that we talked about in that description was the strange pattern that they've got. So they were called ancestor fish, because they've got a bit of a strange shape, but the pattern is relatively unusual in Corydoras. I wouldn't say it's totally unique, but it's certainly a combination of unique things. A combination of things that make it unique. And the kind of thesis that we came up with was, or a hypothesis, depending on how well argued it was that because these particular species, as well as some others, most people think Corydoras as active during the day, out and about, scurrying around, and then maybe not as active at night. These species, as well as some others, are actually nocturnal species.
Oh, okay.
So during the day, they don't really move very much, and they don't tend to group together. And then on a night, that's when they're caught by the fishermen, because if you try and catch them during the day, you can't find them. Or you find 1 or 2 here and there. And the thing that we came up with in that description was that we, with some evidence based on other works, of course, not just plucked it out of the air, was that pattern was essentially a juvenile pattern. If you look at juvenile, certainly Hoplosoma and some of the other genera as well, the pattern of the juveniles is usually different to the pattern of the adult, like you said, for these tetras. And there's a reason for that. That's not just because it's changing as it grows. There's an evolutionary reason for it. And it's usually, not always, but usually because the young occupy different parts of the biotope, if you like.
Yeah.
and they may be active at different parts of the day than maybe the adults are.
Yeah.
So they have to have a different pattern to avoid
Yeah.
predation. And the gastrodermis stuff, the astatus, and these other characins, I'm not 100% convinced that they are actually mimicking each other. These.
Okay.
Well, I was going to ask you who's mimicking who, so
I
carry
don't
on.
think they are, to be honest.
Do you think it's just a good pattern if you live in a shoal and you swim about? It's the dot dash theory. You can't pick the fish out if the pattern's sort of like.
It is, but it's also this is where you think my eye is, but actually it's my tail.
Yeah.
If you're trying to attack my eye, you're actually going to get my tail, which is much more disposable than the eye and the head.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm not convinced yet that those are actually mimicking each other.
You raise a valid point, because there's the characins that look like this are literally found right across South America. Hestartus is a southern fish, if I'm not mistaken.
Middle to southern, yeah.
Yeah, but there's stuff at the top of Venezuela that looks the same.
Yeah, I think this is more about a evolutionary viable, cryptic.
There's African and Asian fishes with the same patterns as well.
Yeah, I mean you could say that for a lot of types of patterns, I suppose. Yeah. But I'm not. They're armoured and they've got spines, and I'm sure they've got a little bit of venom status, but I'm not really sure there's that many fish bothered about eating them, to be quite honest. So I'm not so sure it's Mullerian mimicry or Batesian mimicry or even mimicry at all.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing that I think needs a bit more.
That works. That a lot.
It's a pattern that works to avoid predation, I think.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Sorry, I've lost where we're at with comments.
We're getting some great comments. This is just. I'm reading the comments. I'm listening.
Yeah.
There's a whole conversation going on. Okay, go on, Matt.
We've got the most viewers we've ever had. We're on 6 viewers.
Yeah, one of them's my mum and one's my sister.
So, while you're messing there, I've got one very quick question for Steve. Steve, you mentioned earlier about how a fish can have cryptic and warning markings at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that something? So, where my mind went with that is that something that the markings are cryptic if they're on the habitat they've evolved to be cryptic on? So, say for argument's sake, leaf litter. But if they're moving across open sand, do those markings that are equally cryptic then represent a warning sign? Is that how it works?
That can be how it works. So we know from field observations going back to like David Sands in 1990s, I think it was, but from them since that some of these Corydoras, they're not always on the same substrate. So they can be on leaf litter, they can be on open sand, or a mixture of both, or mud in some cases, or rocks in some cases. And depending on, there's a body of work of which we've kind of added our little bit to around Corydoras, in that it all comes down to the observer, which is the predator. The most important thing is a predator. But we have to also factor in that fish communication in terms of coloration, there are other factors out to communicate, but let's talk about coloration and pattern, is also around signaling intraspecific and infraspecific signaling as well. So,
this is like I was saying about the blackwater fish when I was in the Rio Negro. They can see each other. They need to. It's a code.
And they need to be able to see each other to shoal if they're a shoaling species, to mate if they're if it's that time of year or whatever, to kind of spar if they're kind of if they have to compete for females. So there's a whole host of substrates, backdrops, clarity of water. Because just remember, like you mentioned before, just because the water were clear when they were caught, I mean the water's going to be clear all year round. There's times when they'll be spawning. There'll be times when predators are different. So you might have avian predators looking down. So we did some work around the colour pattern when you look down on top of a fish, which by the way was started by David Sands in the late 1990s. The pattern and the colour when you're looking from the side, even when you look from above. So there's all sorts of signalling going off at different points in time, depending on who the observer is and why they're trying to observe the fish.
Okay.
So it's a very nuanced people think, oh, that's got a nice colour pattern. Well,
Mm.
it's there for every fish has got a colour pattern for a reason, and it might not just be one reason.
Apart from bloody albino threadfinacaras.
Every naturally occur, let's call it every natural colour
Yeah.
form.
Yeah.
So it's a quite a fascinating kind of worms to open, really.
It does sound very nuanced.
Is there much predation in Corydoras in the wild? Presumably
Yeah.
there is, because they're small.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a
Who's
bit of a
eating them?
mouthful, though. I remember I used to have a leopard bushfish, and that would eat my corys and then spit them back out again because they just like lock, and it would just be like it's too much hassle. So
yeah,
I've heard stories of stingrays dying after eating corys. Where well, I don't know why you'd keep them together, but people have put them in and thought, oh, that's fine, and then the stingray's dead.
yeah.
Wow.
Birds eat a lot.
Yeah.
Aren't some of the wolffish like designed as well? Yeah, I was going to say hoplites. Haven't they got like that bony plate in the top of the mouth?
Yeah,
so they can literally crush.
It's almost like a placoderm teeth.
That's
It's almost like
so they can get around that spine and just.
What's that famous Dunkleosteus?
Dunkleosteus. Yes,
it's a little bit like that, and so they eat them. Piranhas have been known to eat them or try and eat them.
Piranhas probably just dive in and take a bite and
take a chomp at back end, probably.
You
might get one or two that die from it, but birds, but certainly birds, which is why the pattern from above. You shouldn't just think about the pattern from the side. You should think about what the pattern looks like from above.
Should we take a look at some?
That makes a lot of sense. Just on that note, that makes a lot of sense for things like Arcuatus and Bethany and Granti.
Yeah.
Because you've got to think, well, why is it white? That's no good. But it's not from above. It's black from above.
No, it's
if you look at it from above,
very predominantly. It's
so
almost.
So look what a beautiful species that is. I mean,
by the way, if anybody's wondering, this is Corydoras arcuatus.
Yeah. So this beautiful Hoposoma Granti. So when we're looking at, I'm an I person, not an Eve. I know I heard you the other week. But I'm still an
These two are as well. I'm an I person.
I used to say I for many years. And I sometimes don't know about I'm an I person because if you look at modern Italian, they always say I.
Right,
and I know that's
Jeremy, we need to be better. We need
to Grant's A anyway.
But if you look at so if you look at this, if you look at that from the side, so what about that pattern do you think would warn a predator, if anything?
When I look at fish, I squint because I assume there's turbidity in the water. So my squint is it's actually hiding its profile from the side. It's a higher kind of, do you know what I mean?
It breaks it up a little bit.
Yes.
But in the Bethany paper, which has got similar pattern to this, but quite the same. So in the Bethany paper, we talk about this pattern and what it might do, and I do agree. We do say that some of it is crypsis, but these fish, particularly Bethany, when you look at them, if you go too close to them, they settle. They get in the water and they hover like this, and they're like little helicopters, like shimmying in the water. They're not trying to hide. They're actually kind of trying to. It's like they're trying to scare you off, basically. And then there comes a point when they bolt if they need to do. But we quote some other papers around this pattern because they call the skunk cory for obvious reasons. Now, why do you think a skunk's got the pattern that it's got? Obviously, it's inverse. It's a white lining. But there's a reason that a skunk has that another animal similar.
It's like a flag, I guess.
I'm black and white is a known, proven aposomatic coloration.
Right. Okay.
So this is saying.
Well, I suppose it makes sense. It doesn't matter what colours an animal sees, black and white. You spot
It's the contrast.
It's the contrast between the two. So that's a known aposomatic colour. So that's warning you that I've got spines, I've got toxin. Yeah. When you look at it from above, you basically got two. It looks like two lines like this.
Right.
And what it does is it breaks up the coloration. It breaks up the outline of the fish because it kind of sends your eyes a little bit. I do the same, Jeremy. I kind of squint at fish sometimes. Is that and obviously fish have different vision to us anyway. They see different colours we don't see. So the outcome that we made was that Bethany, Narcissus, Granti, Uruku, and some of the other kind of archetype ones
mete and stuff like that.
Cryptic as well as aposomatic, depending on your viewpoint and how close you are, etc., etc.
I like that. That's
So,
good.
So a quick follow-up question to that. So obviously, if you're pulling off those markings, saying that I'm spiky and I'm toxic in some way, you've got to be able to back that up. Otherwise, a predator will learn that you're not toxic and just start nailing you anyway. So what do we know about the toxins in these guys? What's the actual sting mechanism or the protective mechanism?
Well, can I interject and say if there's a few of well, I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna kick you if you don't stop, and I have the power to do that. If I could interject, I guess if there's a group of these fish with a similar pattern, only one of them has to be toxic. The rest can wing it, and
it does. That's Batesian mimicry. But what we know that
as long as they live together,
we know that Corydoras and Mullerian mimicry, because they're all in some way defended, some bit more robust than others. So these fish, we know they've got sharp dorsal and pectoral fin spines that are serrated. So it's not just the fact that they're hard and they're sharp, they're serrated.
Yeah.
We know that behind the kind of coracoid area, expansion of the coracoid behind the kind of gill area, sits quite and it varies from species to species, genus to genus, but there's a relatively large gland that exhumes a toxin, because depending on how it's employed will decide whether it's a venom or a poison.
Ingested.
And there's a really good paper that's just come out, actually, like I said, from it's a few people, it's not just one person, but one of the people will be doing a talk on it at CSG convention, which I'm really looking forward to. But basically, and I know Eric and his team have done a lot of work on this as well and continue. But basically, we know that there's a toxin and quite a large gland behind that kind of expanded lateral wing of the coracoid there. In some cases, even though it's been quoted, but it's my understanding it's not been proven, there may also be some kind of toxin associated with the dorsal fin spine in some species as well. And when we describe Bethany, when we preserve the type specimens, it looked like, but we didn't dissect any, but it looked like there may even be a little gland underneath that little adipose fin spine on the back.
Really?
Yes, yes. You could see through the plates, and it looked like, we couldn't say for sure, a very small little potential gland underneath there. So
one at the back and one at the front.
So two at the top potentially, and one at each side.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we know that these are, and obviously you've got armor plating as well, but the problem, in terms of danger to predators, it's the dorsal pectoral fin spines and the toxins. So we know that these are true, that they're not trying to pretend that they're toxic, because they are.
Yeah. By the way, if anybody's in the comments that works in an aquatic store, it'd be interesting to know who's actually been stung by a Cory before, because I've actually been done by
about to suggest that.
Yeah, and that was like a powerful bee sting, and that lasted for a few hours when Granty got me.
I mean,
you always wonder how much these kind of bacteria and stuff as well, though, don't you? Because it's kind of.
Yes, I mean, slight digression there. What's the worst thing you've ever been stung by, fish-wise? What's the worst thing that's ever got you? We'll start with you. You were hospitalised
by a pseudoplatystoma.
Ooh,
Jesus.
So
we shouldn't try and swallow it.
Well, that's been said about a lot of things in my life. When I was a very young aquarist, one jumped out of the tank, and like a fool, I grabbed hold of it round its pec area. One of the pec spines went straight into my finger, but it hit my bone. I put it into the tank, it thrashed around, the pectoral fin spine broke off at the base, and we could not pull it out because of the backwards facing serration. And within 5 minutes, my whole hand and wrist were swollen, tingling, pain, and I had to spend a night in hospital with loads of injections. I had to cut the spine and the little denticles out. So that wasn't very nice.
You've won that one. Jeremy, what have you had?
I got stung by a foxface the other day. It's a marine fish, but that really hurt. Yeah, I've always been told about it, and I was catching one, and it's a rabbit fish basically, and the dorsal spines are venomous, and that went right up my arm, and I was in agony. And I carried on serving these people, going, "Yeah, it's going to be fighting for your tank." And I was just like, "Ah!" Just like running up my arm.
Christ.
So,
Really?
Yeah.
Max? No, Max, you next.
Quite tame. It's probably the Granty that got me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I told it so.
Yeah, of course you did. Yeah, go on then, Nathan.
No, mine was not nowhere near as bad as Steve's, but mine was a Pictus, pin Pictus catfish. And again, same thing that Steve mentioned though. So it went in. It actually went in. You can't. Oh, you put a comment up. It went into the soft part of the thumb. That part there. That was painful, but coming out. Oh my God! Because it's again serrated and barbed. It was 10 times more painful just getting that damn thing back out the hand. That was agony. Absolute agony.
Mine wouldn't even pull out, Nathan. They had to cut it out.
Should have just pushed it through. Should have manned up.
It would have gone to the bone. So
push it through.
And go through.
Yeah, you don't need bones. Push it through.
Alan's put Matoro. I think he's probably got a win with that.
What he hospitalised?
Alan,
Come on.
if you're still with us and the Matoro sting hasn't killed you yet, how bad was it? Talk about the pain. I'm careful with mine. I'm overly careful. I don't want to get done, but I equally kind of want to know just how bad it actually is. So please do tell us.
Yeah, I bet he was man enough to push it through, though.
I think so, yeah. Unlike certain people that
Unlike certain.
My muscles, there was too much muscle in my finger.
I'm surprised it even went in. I thought it'd be like, what's that film with Will Smith, Hancock, where they try when he's in, while he's in hospital, and the needle just breaks.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Alan's had an afternoon in A&E with his Matoro sting.
Ouch.
Ouch, indeed.
I did once see. I once saw someone. To be fair, it was a reaction. I saw a guy hospitalised by a snake lox anemone. You know, the indigenous snake lox anemones. Yeah. So it was a new guy who worked at Sea Life when I was not long there, and he was just working away on the tanks, and it brushed him. And within 5 minutes, he couldn't breathe. He literally swelled up like a horse's ring piece. He was just like, we're like, right, hospital for you. Probably not going to have a job in the morning because you can't touch anything.
I mean, I feel sorry for acarists that are allergic to bloodworm. Have you come across that?
Yeah.
Just quit, don't you?
Yeah, I've literally worked with people in fish shops who are like, bloodworm makes you bad, or like krill and stuff, and you're just like, why are you here?
Yeah.
If I had a nut allergy, I wouldn't work in like a peanut factory. Do you know what I mean? It's
Black Country Acaris, not quite the same, but I've been shredded by Lepracanthicus and Pseudacanthicus species. I imagine, those things are nasty. I don't think they've got any.
They were rough,
but my God, they're sharp beasties.
Somebody else has mentioned Platystachus, which at the end of the spine is very sharp.
Yeah.
Very, very sharp on those.
Oh,
this is a good one. Look at this. Katie Sales, we had an acarist become allergic to salt.
Wow.
That's rough. That's very rough.
Good job they're not on the Freshwater Network.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
Seconded only by the acarist that became allergic to water.
I once got sawed by a agamixis as well.
Ooh.
I was trying to cup it in the net, and I managed to get the side of the body, and it just did that whoomp thing down on me and started soaring. And I'm like, "Oh, you little bastard!"
Yeah, I had
that hurt.
One of those big alcanyptrids from Colombia called that scream at you.
What, hassards?
No, not hassar. What are they, Steve? Big black things, nasty things.
Trachychoristes.
Not the ones with the wavy dorsal fin.
No, Trachychoristes. I had one of those saw down on me once. That really hurt. Flicked it. It were only a little one. I flicked it back into the tank. I thought, I'm not dealing with that today.
You deserved it.
Okay, so moving on. I've become more sensitive to bloodworm. I feel my fingers tingle with contact with it these days.
Yeah, we know what he's doing in the toilet. We know what he's doing in the toilet after he's been holding bloodworm, don't we?
Okay, what?
I actually don't, Max.
I'm not telling you. Right, Steve.
Genus.
Genus.
Corydoras.
This is the real
This
Corydoras.
is the
then.
real, and this is the
Is
type
it?
species of the of Corydoras as well.
Go on.
Yeah.
Which species?
Lovely.
So there's Corydoras Jeffroy, not Jeffroy A or E, depending on how you pronounce it, just Jeffroy. So that's the type species. You don't often see these in your shops.
Is it a Suriname fish?
Suriname, Guyana type area, yeah.
That's not somewhere that's fished very often.
Not often. They do come in now and again, but
expensive,
not very
I
often.
imagine.
And you don't. These are the long pectorals that you see there is not common on Corydoras. You can get some with the males
long,
do.
aren't they?
Yeah, you do get some with longer pecs on males, but
do they
these are
joust
particularly
each
long.
other or wrestle?
They do. I can remember having some Corydoras sararensis, watching them many years ago, and the males were constantly jousting with the pectoral fins, just constantly, just fencing essentially.
Is that quite a large species, fully grown?
It's relative. Yes, one of the bigger Corydoras. I mean, all true Corydoras are relatively large.
What sort of total length
right.
can you get out of one of these bad boys?
I've not kept these, but I think you're talking at least 6.5 to 7 SL, something like that.
All right, okay.
Maybe even a bit longer.
Stick
maybe even a bit longer.
And it's even longer than that then.
It's
Yeah.
a beast. I was really gutted actually when the whole revision came out to find that after I looked through all the names, I've never actually kept a single Corydoras. So
Yeah,
my
well,
whole life I'm like,
you're an
I've got
amateur,
Corys. And then I was like, I haven't had an actual single Cory off of this list. I was really gutted.
They're not as common as your other ones. Yeah, they're not as common as your other ones. They're not as easy to breed as the other ones. I don't think they're as, in terms of shipments, they just don't seem to come in the same numbers.
Yeah, we've got
and they cost a bob.
I think the only common Corydoras is C. septum trianalis. Steve, I don't know if you remember, we had some that came in as septum trianalis. I think they were stenocephalus in the end, or something similar to stenocephalus. So it might be that it's stenocephalus that's probably the most common one.
Yeah, I mean septentrionalis, which I think means northern, is one that does tend to come in fairly regularly, but not like your other genera. When they do come in, it tends to be them. You get the odd acutus, you might get some narcissus now and again.
Yeah.
But LSA,
Fowler eye is not overly rare.
Fowler eye, the true Fowler eye doesn't come in that often. You get some of these semi-aquilis.
Yeah, is that Peruvian?
Yeah, semi-aquilis black. They're sometimes called. They sometimes.
What's pastazensis? Is that Corydoras?
It is. Yeah.
Okay, that one you can get from Peru every now and again.
Yeah, and
still not common though.
EAP. You used to see 53. That sometimes comes in. That's from Rio Nane, I think.
What about Orsessi? Is that valid yet or not? Is that still a synonym of pastazensis?
It's currently valid, but it's probably going to be synonymized.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Is there anything that's diagnostic, just in the basic morphology of that fish that we can see in front of us? Is there anything that's kind of diagnostic, just to the human eye with that as being a Corydoras, with that face shape, the placement of the eye, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, if you're just trying to go off, living fish, and you can't, drill down to the bones. Generally speaking, they've got what they call a saddle snout. You can see the kind of snout's a bit concave. But you can't always go with that because there is a Hoplosoma species. In fact, there might be a couple actually, I think, that have got a similar snout shape. So it is a kind of indicator, but it's not a kind of fail-safe thing. There are some true morphological differences, but you'd have to really take really close-up photos, have a close-up look. So Corydoras have like a kind of flap or a rictal, what sometimes called a rictal barbel, a little small barbel underneath the other barbels on the corner of the mouth. So it's not always a barbel. It's some type. Well, it's not a true barbel anyway, but it's a flap. In this one of the bones at the side of the head, they've got two paws in it rather than one. But you're not going to see that in you're not going to look in a fish tank and say, oh yeah, that's got two holes in the sphenotic. You're just not going to. You're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to see serrations in dorsal fin spines.
So realistically, it's best to, well, not best to, but you can generalize. Look at the body shape and how the fish looks and go, well, that's probably going to be a Corydoras. It's
Generally
long, it's got a
speaking-
saddle snout,
Generally
longer
speaking,
pectorals. Yeah,
not
and it's
not
not
all
always
of
going to
them.
serve you well, but that's the best, probably the best way to go if you're
Yeah,
not
generally
if
speaking,
you're not a
you're gonna,
Stephen Grant.
yeah, you're gonna generally be able. There's some exceptions. I mean, as somebody's put some have a third rictal barbel. I think the last scientific work that looked at didn't classify it as a true barbel. They classed it as a flap. Some it looks like a barbel.
Flaps
It's
and
not-
barbels.
It's not a true barbel, is my understanding. But if you want to
Rictal
call it a
barbel,
barbel,
that's 2 words I'm going to take
fine.
away with me from this.
So I'm going to call my child.
So yeah, generally speaking, thick pectoral fin spines certainly in the males, saddle snout shape, large, generally large. But obviously, if you get a juvenile fish, you might not see any of those things other than the snout. You can't always go on the snout because, like I said, there's a couple of oposoma that people have thought, oh, that's a Corydoras, but when they've actually looked at the rest of the bones and everything, it's not.
Okay, moving on. What do we have here?
So we have, well, I'm saying we have the bronze. It's possibly a Schultz. I can't really tell from that photo, but so you've got. I mean, obviously, these fish are certainly some of the other species that are probably going to be revalidated at some point. That are currently technically synonyms, but still in use in the hobby.
Venezuelanus as well.
So you've got Venezuelanus, which will probably be truly revalidated. It's still in use anyway. Ian, in my opinion, rightly uses it in his books and everything. But if you go on purely scientific publications, it's not yet truly validated. I think when they described McClory, they did basically say that it looks like Venezuelanus, Schultz, and a few others probably are valid.
Yeah.
But there's a piece of work going off at the moment that's just looking at those, but it's not going to be easy.
What genus is this, Steve?
So this is Osteogaster.
Which means?
It means bone belly.
Yeah.
Osteopath.
So that's one of the ones that revalidated essentially.
Yeah.
There's quite a few undescribed forms. There's probably a few species, like I said, that are probably going to be revalidated.
Yeah.
Going forward. So I think there's more to come on these.
What are some Osteogaster that you might see in the trade then?
So your usual ones, your Aeneum or Aeneum, as
your
some
bronze
people call
Cory.
them. Your bronze, but the true bronze ones comes from Trinidad.
Oh yes, of course, yeah.
So the true one, I think Ian breeds and sometimes sells those.
So,
they're beautiful greenish bronzy colour.
As works progress and things become validated and such and so forth, the common bronze Cory, is that most likely to be Schultzy?
Yeah, it's probably the one that you tend to see is probably.
Yeah.
But we have to also factor in that some of these could be hybridized in the some of these farm bred fish.
Well, you say that it's really interesting. Some of these fish that come in as Venezuelanus, which will probably be revalidated, almost look like an intermediate between a typical bronze and as Venezuelanus. Maybe they don't have quite the. What's going on here?
Oh, sorry. Well, sorry. It's me. I'm
Bloody
trying to upload stuff in the background.
I guess it's possible to say that some of these farmed fish are very much possibly hybrids.
Possibly,
oh, yeah, it's likely.
But quite possibly, or there could be Schultzes that have kind of faded out over time.
And something that's worth remembering is that breeding successive generations of a species in captivity is not natural, because we're not picking fish because they're surviving in the wild. We're picking them because they appeal to us. So it is very, very commonplace for fish where they've been bred in captivity a few generations to look completely different to how they would in the wild.
Yeah,
and it's always worth remembering that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if bronze Corys, as we see them, the common bronze Cory, is about as common as the common Ancistrus, which is just a Heinz 57 of God knows what.
Yeah. If you want the true bronze, then you can tell you put that one of them at the side of one of these, and I'm not saying it's totally different because it's obviously congeneric, but the colour is totally different. It's a much brighter green with some bronzer elements below.
Yeah.
It's a much more colourful fish than these.
Ecus, presumably that's an Osteogaster.
It is. That's a type. I think that's the type
Is
species
it
of
really?
Osteogaster. I believe so,
Okay.
from memory.
Zygatus and Roberti.
Yep.
Rabouts, yeah.
McClory.
McClory.
Has
What
Max
else?
just got
No.
fish base open or something? Is Max
I
just
think
going
so.
through
I
like,
know,
every
I'm
species
just
of
looking.
Cory?
I can
Yeah,
see him
right.
looking at it like this.
I
course
give
he is.
over. How,
Yeah,
how
he is.
dare you?
He's
How
got
very, very
217
dare you?
species of former
Yeah.
I think
Corydoras
you're
in
going to have
front
to
of him.
screen
And
share.
he's
He's going to have to
going through every
screen
single
share, I
one.
think.
I printed
Yeah.
everything out. I've just got them all on the wall here. No, I've run out. I've run out now. I can't think of any more.
Stop showing off, man.
Yeah.
McClory were described fairly recently after. I don't know whether Rob's on the chat or not, but great.
Rob,
great,
if you're in the chat, leave a comment.
great chap is Rob, and one that were named after him. You've got a Festus, which is the one
reddy
with the
black one.
bright red,
Yeah.
bright red fins. That's absolutely stunning fish.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Okay, moving on.
What are we
What you
doing
got?
next? Ah.
So we've got a Napoensis. So we've got this. You've got your Gastrodermis, another one that's been revalidated.
Gastrodermis meaning?
So this used to be called the Elegans Group by, when I said 1980, when Nissen and his broker, they called it the Elegans Group. After, I think, the oldest described species, Elegans.
Is Elegans the type species for Gastrodermis?
I believe so.
Okay.
It depends. It's not always the oldest. I could be wrong on that. I've not checked that recently, but it depends whether it was designated by the describer. So Cope, who described it a long time ago, 1878 or something like that. Depends which species, if any, you picked, because at one point you didn't actually have to pick a type species. So sometimes people designate the type species later, but certainly probably the oldest described one is probably Elegans. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got, well, I'm not even going to name any because everybody's just going to, I'm just going to catch strays of everyone. I'm just giving, what's point? No point, is there? Gastrodermis, that means belly skin?
It means belly skin, gaster, and dermis, yeah.
Yeah. And that's because, unlike most fish, they have skin on the belly.
I mean, some of the others have skin on the belly, but I think when Cope described it, he compared it to Osteogaster. Sorry, not Osteogaster. Brochis,
so that's a bony belly first.
Yeah, I think he compared it to Brochis, which he described a few years before, which in some species have got an enclosed, not all, have got an enclosed area at the bottom.
That's quite interesting. That is interesting.
So how many species roughly are in?
It's a fairly
quite small
one. Yeah, there's not that many described, and the problem with these is that problem from a description point of view is that they're usually sexually dichromatic. So the males are usually much brighter and different patterns to the females. The females are much deeper and more robust, which isn't particularly unusual in itself, but it's very obvious in these. And you've got a lot of fish that look more or less the same.
Yeah,
but with
Napoensis elegans.
With very bilineatus and Nanus. If you look at the true Nanus and a Napoensis, other than where they're from,
similar
and
fish.
Some slight coloration. There are some slight coloration differences, but not massive.
There's a lot of C and CW numbers in this group as well.
There's a lot, but whether they're
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, the
CW,
yellow
1, 2, 3,
1, 2,
and then
3 is the yellowy green one. So whether they're true species or not, I don't know.
CW006. There's a very small CW number. I know that much.
CW06 were Bethany, I think, from memory.
Is it?
Yeah, from memory.
Maybe it's 8. There's a small CW number. I know that's in there.
But they're not. The numbers aren't large on these, and whether they're all different species is difficult.
So I suppose the black sheep of the group's Nicenai, right? Because it has that.
Oh, Nicenai is very obviously different.
Yeah. It's got that duplicarius pattern rather than the Napoensis pattern. That's a stunning fish. Not one you see too often either.
Don't see it very often. Sometimes comes up at CSG auctions, but very rarely.
Yeah, lovely fish.
It is. Described by David Sands.
Okay.
Oh, Brochis.
Even I can
Brocky boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are the true brokis. I know we were talking earlier on about the fact that if you include these, there's 4 essentially groups, 4 subclades, including the main one. So these are the true brokis. Essentially, the only real obvious difference between these and the other ones is the dorsal ray count. They are generally more robust. They are generally a kind of greeny emerald colour, but there are some in the other subclades that also can have similar coloration.
Just
So
going back to when we were talking about juvenile colours, this is a really good group of fish to look at with regards to the juvenile colours, because the true brokis has juveniles, brown blotchy things with massive dorsal
massive
fins.
dorsals,
Yeah.
Do we know if that's true for the other brokis that are maybe not true?
They're not like that.
Not like that. Okay, that's
No.
interesting.
So I think it's possible that there'll be at least one new genus described for the others at some point.
Maxodoras.
The problem is, like I said, other than the dorsal fin ray count, which the scientists have felt is not significant a character enough to pin a new genus on. Other than that, it's difficult at the moment to come up with a. I'm not saying they won't come up with one, because they're looking inside the skull, they're looking inside under the plates. They might come up with something.
So what is the defining characteristic that makes brokis? So, because originally I always knew it to be the dorsal ray count. So what actually is it? How do you pin a fish into brokis?
So they've not they don't actually, in the paper, they don't actually use the dorsal fin ray count, because obviously they've included the other inverted commas brokis in there. So it's not actually included. So you've got pectoral fin with laminar serrations on the spine. You've got a mesethmoid, which is the bone that runs down the centre of the head, which is very large, or at least moderately large. I think the pectoral fin, the serrations on the dorsal fin spine point to the tip, but that's not unique in itself. So I think it's more of a combination at the moment. They're trying to make sense. There's a species, could be wrong on this, I'm doing this from memory, but there's a species I think called Difluviatilis, which kind of sits on its own in a way. It's a very strange fish, very strange species. And they're going to need to settle where that goes, I think, before they look at potentially splitting it off, because it's kind of got mixed characters. It's a very odd fish, is Difluviatilis.
There's a question.
More to come on these, I think.
There's a question from Alan. What does brokis translate to? What's the etymology behind brokis?
It's Greek, and Greek origin, and it means a loop or noose. And it's about the when Cope described it, it's about he described in the paper, he described the barbels. He said they're like a loop, I can't remember, loop or noose cat, which are the 2 words he used. But he basically said something of that nature, so that's why
That's where it came from. Okay,
Greek is a Greek word for noose or loop.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay. Beautiful. What a fish. What a beautiful fish.
Yeah.
But again, these, up until probably 1990s, it wasn't probably until about early 1990, I think Burgess in his Catfish Atlas, or maybe just after in the supplement that came out, started using Scleromistax. So before that, they were all like the others under Corydoras, but the Barbatus group, as they were called. But these, these are fairly readily identifiable. The prior notice is not as kind of distinct in terms of its colour. But generally speaking, they're fairly easy to pick out. Most species have got these ossified kind of structures on the side of the barbels there before you get to the opercle, which is why it's called Scleromistax.
Hard moustache.
Tough or hard moustache, yeah. So it's got a long lateral ethmoid, which is the one of the bones on the head. It's got the pectoral fin spine. In some cases is not as pronounced, but in sexually active males, it gets very pronounced. So they've got a palatine, which is one of the I'm pointing. You can't see where I'm pointing to, but
I've just realised that.
yeah, I'm doing this. You can't see where I'm pointing to. So where the beard is, there's like a bone that goes across called the palatine, and it's a very slender bone in these. So again, you're not other than the bristles in most of the species, you're not going to see these things. But most people can spot Scleromistax. I don't think it's a particularly difficult genus to spot. And
they all like cooler water, don't they? Oh, as far as I'm aware, they all
they all come from the coastal areas of kind of either southern Brazil, some of the areas that go further down. So they tend to be cooler water.
Less acidic as well, probably closer to neutral, the water, I imagine, in that case.
I've not been out and caught them, so I don't know, but I would assume
if anybody knows,
clearer. I would assume it would be clearer. And certainly when they spawn, they need cooler, clear, fast.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, they tend to spawn on the flow.
Yeah, I mean, they're a very streamlined fish, aren't they?
Yeah.
Nathan, my first experience with Scleromistax, Nathan, was actually an article you wrote in PFK, and if I am not mistaken, you described them as the Ferrari of catfishers. Which
they're top end. Yeah, they're absolutely top end.
Yeah.
And
always stuck with me.
So speaking anecdotally, I've only ever had Barbatus before, and the males were quite sniffy with each other. On those guys, there was a lot of displaying and almost like it's borderline aggression. There was real kind of territoriality between them, which I've not come across in any other species.
Yeah. Now, if we put 2 and 2 together and get 5, if it does live in faster flowing water, generally speaking, if you throw them into a tank with less flow, they've got more energy to spend, and if you do that with a lot of fish, they become aggressive. We've seen it with a lot of fish really, where they probably should be in fast water, and too much energy, more aggression, like kids with ADHD, like me growing up.
Like you, yeah.
Yeah, I need to be living in fast flowing water, or else
under it ideally.
Are there any genera I have missed? Do we go back to?
Yeah, we've not had Aspidoras. Bring us Aspidoras, Jeremy.
No Aspidoras,
haven't we?
Let me check.
Did we run out of photo room? I think
we run out of photo room, so we need to delete a photo. We're absolute amateurs at this.
You sent me an app.
I did, yes, Jeremy. I've sent you it twice.
Wait.
Well, while he's looking for the Aspidoras, Steve, am I right in saying that what is now Pelitum, Hoplosoma pelitum, wasn't that first picked up by Darwin on the Beagle?
It was
on one of his expeditions. Yeah.
The type specimens were collected on the Beagle expedition. Yes.
Really?
So a bit of Darwin.
And I've been and seen those specimens at Natural History Museum.
I was going to ask you if you've seen any of these.
I have. I've seen all the Natural History Museum London type specimens, including Palliatum, which were a real. In fact, I'll be at the museum in the next week or two.
Cool.
If you see Rupert, tell him we need him on.
I will be meeting Rupert and James.
Yeah, we need Rupert on. We need him on. And cheers for that, Ethan. I'll remember that. That's really helpful.
Fast flowing water will cure it.
Jeremy, I've just sent you that picture again. If you can get it in, that'd be much appreciated.
No, it's not.
While we're doing that, somebody's asked our RC125 red reel and how common. So I'll be quite honest with you. From a fish keeping perspective, I'm not a big Aspidoras person. I think I've only ever kept one species. My understanding from talking to Rob McClure, who's really into Aspidoras and Scleromistax, is that they are a tank-bred, line-bred colour version of one of the species, which I can't for the life of me think of.
Is it Raymundi, as per
it could be Raymundi,
Johannes Steen's comment?
Yes, it could be. Yes, it's probably Raymundi.
We'll go with
that. So they're not a naturally occurring colour species. Let's call it that.
Okay. So we haven't got an Aspidoras picture.
We haven't because Jeremy's useless.
I mean, they all look virtually the same anyway. They all virtually the same anyway.
There we go.
We've got one. Oh, we had one.
Oh, hang on. me and Max.
Bring it
both
up.
pressing Matt.
It was not me.
So, and Steve, am I right in saying that the defining feature on this is just like a bone in is it the noggin bone in the skull, something like that?
more or less. So they've got two cranial fontanelles. So a fontanelle is a hole in a bone, and in the top of the head, they've got two. They've also got on the pectoral fin spine, it's reduced compared to the rest of the
of course
fin, and also they've got on the actual rays behind the pectoral, they've got some laminar serrations, which I think Lewis, one of his theories was that they use them to either anchor themselves or move along. If you ever caught these in a net, these can climb up a net.
Huh.
What?
They actually, if you catch one of these in a net, they can wiggle up the net.
I've had them move in a net before from trying to catch aspies, and they're literally like climbing up and trying to get out. Yeah,
and
that's really cool.
And Lewis thinks that that's what the reduced, not just the reduced pec spine, but also these little serrations that are on the rays behind the spine.
Yeah. So, do they use this to kind of climb up little riffles and little waterfalls? Do they kind of wiggle up them?
Either that or they're anchoring themselves over, climbing over rocks. Maybe it's not waterfalls as such. I don't know. But
shallow water.
Shallow waters in riffles in rocks, climbing up over to rocks and things like that.
Little weirs and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I'll be honest. I'll be totally honest. I'm not a whiz on identifying these species. I've kind of not even tried to differentiate
That's off the simplest, that one, Steve.
a lot of them got synonymized, but in the last review, a lot of them got synonymized. They're sometimes very variable, and I don't really kept them, so I'm not as interested in these.
Here we go.
Eric's Aspidoras used to jump out of the water to the spillway of my HOB filter to lay eggs. The question is, were they jumping out or were they climbing out?
Maybe a bit of both.
Maybe a bit of both. Yeah. Yeah. I like to think it'd be climbing. Mine lay eggs in the outlets from airlift, so they're spawning in highly oxygenated water. So you would think that they live in fast flowing water.
They do shallow, clear. I do know that, but like I said, in terms of species differentiation, they're extremely difficult. Not in all cases, because there's some that do stand out, but in a lot of these, so variable, and they're quite conservative.
Someone's put hillstream loach in my plant cascade in the shop at work, and they migrate up the glass and into the next section. It's really cool.
Do you know, it's a really interesting thought. This is a theory I have, and it's probably a terrible theory, and Nathan will just laugh at me anyway because he always does.
I'm gonna laugh.
We're gonna laugh anyway.
If you think about it, freshwater organisms in general need
organism.
To
did you say
organisms?
All right.
Organism
okay.
Need to swim against the flow, or they'll get washed away. If any freshwater organism in a river decides that it's just going to go with the flow, there's going to be none left of it. So there must be something there where freshwater fish, have an urge to swim against the flow, to stay in the river.
They do, but some body shapes and fin shapes and things like that lend themselves more to basically stasis in the water. Some have to swim against the water more than others. If you're at the bottom and you've got water essentially traveling over the bottom like that.
The point being is, if everything just went with the flow of the river, there'd be nothing left in the river.
Yeah.
So
Matt, you've literally just described the difference between plankton and non-plankton, whether it's able to move against the current or
you're a bit.
They're not plankton. They're not plankton, Max. Aspidoras are not plankton.
Okay, well, it's good to know you're a massive plankton.
You're a huge.
So just the last question on Aspidoras. Porci radiatus was previously an Aspidoras, right? And now it's in the elegans group, so it's Gastrodermus.
So it's been moved around quite a bit, that one, to be honest, plus a couple of others as well that have moved around genera. So if you look at, if you just go on general body shape, you would think it were an Aspidoras if you just looked at it, from the side, long, slender, very short little snout, small eyes, all that kind of stuff. But when you actually look at the bones of the fins, the head, and everything else, it sits within Gastrodermis. But there are some highly modified Gastrodermis that some people might class as a different genus, for example. But if you just want to split everything down, because we have to accept that there are some species that are highly modified but share the same ancestor as other species, and maybe they haven't got to the point yet where they've actually diversified or evolved enough to essentially be classed as a new genus, and that happens with species as well.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe it'll move again in 10 years' time, but at the moment it is where it is.
And it's worth remembering that evolution doesn't stand still; it's all very transitional.
Exactly,
anyway.
we're looking at it right now today.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen?
But it's in progress, so nothing's just going to fit in nicely.
Yeah, we can't. We as humans, we like to classify everything into little boxes, and but not everything can fit in a box.
Chris Wilson, your brain was already fried.
Brilliant.
Okay, so it's 8:47, and that brings us up swiftly to quiz time.
Oh no! I'm too
Let's
old
play
for
the
quizzes.
intro music. Here we go.
Quiz, guess what it is? Fish quiz, that's what it is. Fish quiz, guess what it is? Fish quiz, that's what it is. Fish quiz.
Guys, if you've not downloaded that on Spotify yet, you need to. I've been listening to it on repeat all week.
Can I get more time because I'm older and my brain takes longer to?
Should we give him an extra 3 seconds? Yeah, you've had more time to learn the stuff.
Max, are you ready?
I am ready.
Wait.
You'll be happy to know that I slipped in one of these questions as well. So one of these is mine.
Yep.
You're gonna love it. I tailored it for you. If you don't get it, I'm gonna literally burn Castleford down.
Right. Ethan, are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, begin.
Name a killifish.
Gardener eye.
Which catfish is named after a Star Wars character?
Greedo eye.
Name a country through which the Zambezi flows.
Malawi.
Quick!
How many described species of pterophyllum are there currently?
3.
Najas guadalupensis is more commonly known as... It's a plant, by the way.
No idea. I don't know anything about plants.
Red Herbert axelrods and Gary Langs are all types of...
Rainbow fish.
True or false, there are 4 species of Asian cichlid.
I
False.
was going to ask
Name
you
a
that
fish
one, Max.
beginning with G.
Geophagus.
In taxonomy, xeno means...
Alien. Oh.
In what country would you find glow-light tetras in the wild? I asked, so I'll finish.
Yeah, so you'll finish, yeah.
In what country would you find glow-light tetras in the wild?
It's Peru or Colombia. I'll go with Peru.
Right, you got...
Singapore, Malaysia.
Well, do you want the good news or the bad news?
I'm last.
That is the bad news, but the good news is that the good news is that you joined last, not last on your own.
Okay.
So you scored 6 points. Do you want to know what you got wrong?
Yeah, I know
Let's
which
go
one.
through.
But go on.
Name a killifish. You said gardener eye. Classic. A bit boring. I was thinking about only giving you a half a point because it's so
what?
basic. But you got it. Name a catfish. Which catfish is named after a Star Wars character? It's Pecultia greedoii.
You said which species, not species. Genus.
No. You got it right. You got it right.
Right.
We only needed greedoii. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Name a country through which the Zambezi flows. You said Malawi. Unfortunately, that's wrong. I would have accepted Zambia.
Yeah,
Angola.
I'm going to say Zambia, but I thought, is that been renamed now or something?
No. It used to be Rhodesia, didn't it?
Yeah,
Zambia, Angola, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, or Mozambique. But you said Malawi.
I'm going to say Zambia, but I thought it would have been renamed.
Yeah.
Should have
just said Africa.
It should have said Congo because we'd have accepted that.
Congo.
How many described species of pterophyllum are there currently? The angelfish. There are indeed 3: Leopoldi, Altum, and Scalar. That'll probably change in the future, I imagine.
Yeah.
Najas guadalupensis is more commonly known as. Did any of you get this?
Never heard
It's
of
something grass, isn't it?
It's guppy grass. It's
guppy grass,
It's
of
an
course it is.
absolute
I didn't know
classic.
that.
it. Comes up at auctions, actually. I should know that.
Yeah, you should know
I
that.
just know it as Nadjas.
Yeah.
Well, add an extra half point to mine because I just got half of that.
No
No.
way.
Look at him trying to sneak
Otherwise,
it out. Oh, I came up with a
I'd-
question. Give me half a point.
Otherwise-
Shut up, Nathan. No friends. Red
Big land.
axelrods and Gary lines are all types of what? Rainbow fish. That was a little bit of a trick question. You got it right. I was hoping you'd say Melanotania, and you'd have got it wrong because red is glossolepis.
Glossolepis.
Yeah. True or false?
Yeah.
There are 4
Gary
species of
language,
Asian cichlid. There are indeed 4 species of
I
Asian
thought there were
cichlid.
3. I thought there were
There
3.
are
Hang on. Let's go through these. Go on.
Etroplus canarensis,
Etroplus, Canarensis,
Pseudotroplus suratensis, Pseudotroplus maculatus, and
Yeah, 3. Go on.
Uranochromis.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. That was going to be my trick question.
Yeah.
What's its species name?
I'm not interested in cichlids, so.
Is it homu something?
I don't actually know off the top of my head what the species name is for Uranochromis.
It's Iranicicla homuensis or something?
Iranicicla, not Uranochromis.
They are actually nice, them. They're actually
Yeah,
quite
Iranicicla
cool, aren't they?
iranensis.
No.
Name a fish beginning with E. Yeah, nice, easy one. You got the point there. In taxonomy, xeno means you said alien. Yeah, I would have accepted strange, weird, or different as well.
I bet you would.
You're on the dating scene now, Max.
This will be my last episode.
He's pushed out how to speak to women and replaced it with Corydoras names.
I will accept strange, weird, or different. Hang on.
I'll accept anything at this point.
That's why you got a picture of a little man behind him.
Alive! In what country would you find glow-light tetras in the wild? It was neither Peru nor Colombia. This is a really good one. It's Guyana.
Really?
Cool.
It is, yeah.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's
I'm going to
6.
purge them from my tank now. Now I've got that.
He's gonna kill
Just
them all.
rotanome the whole thing.
Yeah.
You! I only got
Gone.
6 points! Ah!
Let's hammer through the tank.
So, you got,
He's going to punch it straight through when he sees it. Like, you bastard.
You cost me on the leadership course.
Yeah.
so
Kick the dog as you go past.
that's how we currently look. I don't know if that's spun it around, but Nathan, you're in the lead currently. With
Of course
7
I am.
points. It's a very, very, very fragile lead.
Can't believe I didn't say Zambia. Obvious, isn't it?
You'd have gone
Zambia.
joint at the top. Look at that. He's going to cry tonight. He's just going to.
I'm not happy.
Zambia.
I wake up at 4 a.m. and say,
Zambia.
"Why didn't you thought Zambia? Why didn't you say it?"
Exactly.
Zambia.
You'll remember that answer for the rest of your life, and you'll
will.
never get asked it again.
I will.
That is the fortune of this quiz.
I wouldn't mind. It's the easiest one ever.
I had this. I was going to say it, but I thought, has it been changed?
Yeah.
But,
Look, it's rattled him.
What, Africa?
Proper rattled.
Yeah.
Forget Corydoras. All of that Corydoras knowledge, a waste, a total waste.
Don't even know where Zambia is.
There's no more room for anything else.
Yeah.
They've moved the entire river to Asia. Doesn't make sense
It's
anymore.
in Thailand anyway.
We've just rerouted it.
Oh.
Goes through Bangladesh now.
On a serious note, do you know
Gulf of America.
the in Valencia they rerouted the river because it kept flooding the city? I don't know how long ago it was, a few hundred years ago. The River Turia, and now there's a riverbed that runs through the middle of the city that they've turned into a park. Really interesting fact
Yes,
for you.
they've done that. The Rhine or the Danube, they've done it as well.
Really?
Basically, a lot of rivers have been rerouted. Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of them have been
and
channelized.
they were
Yeah.
talking about rerouting the Zambezi River through Malawi to so as not to hurt Steve Grant's feelings. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But if they do, we won't be giving him a point.
He's going to be out there rechanneling it with a spoon in a week's time. Just going to be digging it up with a tablespoon, so one trickle. I'm just going to go 800 miles just to channel it through the edge of Malawi.
You should always go with your first gut instinct. That's a lesson.
Yes, you should.
It's a lesson.
Yeah, well, my first gut instinct was to never have you on the podcast. Though.
Jesus Christ. Oh.
But seriously,
Okay.
that's the quiz. You joint last and joint second. We've got Mark Duffel on next week. Mark the Lurch Man Duffel. He's going to tell us all about fish that eat algae off the glass and clean your tank for you. And he's going to be taking part in the quiz. We'll see where that leads you. You might move up a place technically. If Mark only gets 5, then you'll be in
I'll be joint
second
forever.
Well, I don't know about that. We've got Pete Liptrot at some point.
You do get another go because me and Nathan have both gone twice. So a bit like
We're gonna
that, like kind of pancake cooking thing on Saturday morning TV. You can come on again, and then we'll just quiz you again.
Yeah, and I
That's
think.
how you redeem
I mean,
yourself.
I don't know what the people in the comments think, but I think we've got a lot more to discuss with you at a later date, Steve. We've got woodcats to talk. I think that's going to be a whole thing in its own right, which would be a super. That would be a really. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll get you in. We'll get you booked in for a date when you can, Steve. We're going to talk woodcats at some point.
Yeah. Tell me all about Durin Glanis.
Yeah, we want to know all about your Glanis.
Show me that Glanis.
Can't take you anywhere, Nathan.
Pimelodus.
Yeah.
Where? No, they're barbs. There's
No, you've got a fear of it. Someone just mentioned Pimelodus.
Yes.
You said you got spiked by one, and you instantly panicked.
Yeah, that was horrific.
At the barbs from Malawi.
Yeah.
Pimelodus from Malawi. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We'll do a whole episode on the catfishes of Malawi. What else have we got to talk about then? Does that bring us to a conclusion? I guess just before we finish off, Centromocline would be a lovely one to listen to. Yeah, I guess it would. I guess it really would.
Yeah, there's some new species coming in Centromocline, and some of the genus names have been revalidated now that I described.
Again?
So,
Really? It's like a bloody merry-go-round.
Oh, they need to make their mark.
So Durin Glanis, Balra Glanis, and Ferraris suarezia have been revalidated now.
Nice. That's good. I like that. I don't know who goes where. You're gonna have Balrog Glanis
from
after Durin's Bane.
No.
Yeah, it's cool. Is that? It's really cool. I can't wait for Gollum Glanis.
I bet you can't. Oh.
Good one.
Any final comments?
Yes, any final comments, questions, whatever you've got for us. I'm looking. Oh, here we go. I'm looking forward to asking Mark about Gastromyces and Hypergath. We'll save it for next week. Then don't be asking now. We'll get to that in good time.
He's not here yet.
He's not here. He's not.
They haven't even got a cardboard cutout yet.
Yeah, it's Steve Grant's coming back with a Middlesbrough accent. That's all that's happening.
I did describe a genus of loaches, by the way.
Go on.
And that's his final comment. Thanks,
everyone.
Paracanthocolitis.
Really?
Oh.
What?
Oh, sorry, Max. There you go.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Paracanthocolitis, yeah. The one that nobody likes.
Loaches.
No, what's Paracanthocolitis? What species?
I described that genus, the Zippoloaches.
Is that not Octozona? No, it's not.
No, Paracanthocolitis, Botia, Pucatensis.
That's really cool.
More, things like that. I described that genus.
He's got a few under his belt. I'll give you that. It's impressive. Steve, when's the CSG? When's that happening?
It is the.
It's normally my birthday.
22nd
normally.
20. We've moved it on a week this time. It's the 27th, 28th, and 29th.
And presumably that's sold out now.
It is for rooms, but this year you can buy tickets on the door.
Right. So listen to that. If there's anybody still watching us and you've not board off yet. CSG, you can still buy tickets on the door. If you can get there and you can get the time to get over, then you absolutely should. You'll never find a room full of more nerdy
We should have a
catfish
meet
people
there.
in the world.
We should have our first meet there. We should gate crash Ian's
do
party.
you know what?
With,
If there's no
Green
rooms,
Army.
do you know what? If we can't do it this year, we're absolutely doing it next year.
Yeah, we should do. We should do.
We could do a live stream there with everybody in the
We'll
background.
be 10,000 strong this time next year.
It'll be like the Uruk High Army's storming of Helm's Deep, but everybody will be shouting about catfish. It'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got to do, we're doing that. If not this year, Steve, we're there next year with the Freshwater Network.
Damn right.
Have you got any books, Steve?
No. Stop asking that question. Stop it. Stop it. Enough of that, Alan. We know he has.
Stephen Grant, thank you so much for being a proper interviewee and telling us everything about.
Yeah, seriously, that's been brilliant. I've really enjoyed that. I think we've all learned something. I really hope we've all learned something, because I certainly have.
Somebody else said they were more confused though, so I don't know whether that's a
I
good
saw that. Chris Wilson was more. That's good though. That's good, because we like to confuse people.
It's not
then
settled.
we feel better about ourselves.
Yeah, science is always changing.
Every day we learn. Yeah.
So thank you everybody. That's 2 hours and 33 seconds. We've done that in good time. There's way more we could have talked about, but it is what it is. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, Steve.
I have. It's been good.
I know you live in Castleford, so that's a hard ask.
Yeah, I've had a few changs. Been good.
Yes. Castleford, home of Rolf C. Hagen. Yeah. You see it on the motorway as you go past. Anyway, on that note, thank you everyone. Cheers for everyone. The comments have been brilliant as well.
Yeah. Can't ask more. We've had some great questions. We've had viewers. It's been brilliant. Another good show. Only good. Cheers.
Well.
Well.
Right. Thanks everyone. I'm gonna play our outro. Cheers.
Watch the outro. Watch the outro.
Later.